everyone! Today I am doing a review of The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. This was my buddy read with Unicorn. This book is set in the summer 1976 in England in the time of a heat wave, and there are these two main characters, two girls which are 10 years old, and they are trying to solve the mystery of where Mrs. Creasy has gone to. Going into this book, I didn't really know that it was going to be a mystery. It just didn't click in my mind that it was going to be a mystery book. I wouldn't say that it is a typical mystery novel, at least in my understanding of what a mystery novel is. There is obviously a mystery there where the woman has gone to, and considering that the book takes place in a very hot summer, everything goes slowly and lazily during those days, and so is this book. It is going very slowly and lazily, but at the same time there's quite a cozy atmosphere to this book because it is set in a very small village, and it has a map. This village is very small and everyone knows each other, so it makes it more comfortable, more cozy to read. And obviously, considering the fact that the main characters are two girls, it always adds something to the story which makes it even more cuter and nicer to read. It really can calm you down because of how it's paced. I like that in this book the author decided to go straight into the point in the very first chapter, so it is not dragged, as I don't like slow beginnings of books. The woman has already gone missing from the very first chapter, which I really liked and appreciated. We are in the mind of one of the girls, Grace. Sometimes there will be the chapters in which there's no one in particular we are following. It's just several people and it's not from Grace's point of view anymore, so they are mixed from time to time, and I found that I liked Grace's chapters a lot more than the other ones because it really just reminded me of what it is to be a child, and I love books with children as main characters for that. Most of this book is very British. Even some of the words, we were reading it with Unicorn, and she said that it is very British. At first I didn't really notice, but then I did notice because they would be using some words and things which will be very familiar to me now because I live in England, so I probably just didn't pick up on some of the words or things that she immediately picked up that it is very British. And it also was a bit funny how we were discussing the language differences between American English and English, or rather British English. It was really funny because some of the words like tea in the United States it's only a drink, but in Britain it is, some people use it as instead of, evening meal. And sometimes it felt like this could be set in my own town because of the places that are mentioned and things like that. It's definitely not in my town. I think it's somewhere in the north of England. This book is not only about this mystery unraveling throughout the whole book, it is also about the friendship between these two girls. After finishing this book I started appreciating a little bit more because for my taste it will be going too slowly and not much would happen, but really after finishing the book I started appreciating it, and I loved the message of the book, which I can't really tell you because I think you should rather find out yourself. Mainly this book is set in 1976, but then from time to time there are chapters which are set 9 years before because there's something else that happened 9 years ago and we are trying to find out what it is. That is also something that I didn't really like, because for the first half of the book, when we would be going back there, we as readers didn't really know what they're talking about, what they're discussing, what happened there. That annoyed me a little bit because I wanted to know what exactly happened there and what they're discussing. And only after halfway through or something like that, I had a clue what was happening. Now moving on to the things that I didn't particularly like about this book. Like I said, for me, it's not much happens, it is too slow from time to time, and also I don't like when the author does this thing, when they put dates in a year and then they are just mixed together. So for example, one chapter could be the 17th of December 1969 or something like that. The next chapter could be 21st of December, and the next chapter after that could be the 1st of December. So I don't like when people do that. It just confuses me so much because I can never keep track of what happened when, and it just confuses me so much. Even though I felt like not much happened for my taste personally, because Unicorn really enjoyed it, but at the same time the last 80 pages really got me, because it started unraveling and I was really curious of why Mrs. Christie has gone, where she has gone, what happened to her. And there was another mystery that happened several years ago. We were finding out what happened there as well. But actually, in the end, I was a little bit disappointed. It wasn't satisfying to me because it kind of left you with questions. In my opinion, they weren't really answered. You didn't get a solid answer. You kind of guessed yourself. But I'm not a fan of that. I like to be told things instead of just trying to think of it myself. I felt a bit disappointed because I wanted to know the answer and we weren't given. Something would just happen and then it just stopped, and I was like, so what's next? What happened? I felt a bit let down. And also I found that some of the things are unbelievable. Some of the things that the characters did, I thought that no one in real life would do it, really. Also, one thing that irritated me, it's not really about the book itself, it is about the differences between the American edition and the British edition. First of all, her edition, her American edition, didn't have a map. Somehow, I don't know why they decided to get rid of it. Second of all, some of the chapters could just be either deleted or put somewhere in a different order or something like that, because we were trying to read several chapters per day, 2 or 3 chapters per day. And then sometimes she would tell me something and I was like, and I would have no idea what she's talking about, because in my section they stopped at this point, but in her section that we were reading today, they actually came to another thing that I would only be reading the next day. So that was a bit frustrating at some point. I don't know why they decided to do it so different. But in general, I enjoyed this book. I gave it 3 stars, and like I said, after finishing the whole book, I started appreciating a little bit more. And also, as to finish my review, I would like to tell you my favorite quote from this book. People tend to believe things just because everyone else does. They don't search for proof, they just search for approval from everyone else. I think it is very believable and so true in many cases. If you read this book, please leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you're planning to read this book too, let me know. Thank you for watching. Bye!